So this is Keith Stewart, the games editor from The Guardian. I'm joined here at the official Xbox magazine by John Blythe. Hello, John.
Hello there.
And you, I think you've been playing this Crimson Dragon. So what's it about?
It's an on-rails shooter, much in the line of Rez and Child of Eden, and also previous games by Yukio Futatsugi, who did Panzer Dragoon, which is quite similar in, well, essence. Apart from this isn't very good.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember reviewing Panzer Dragoon for Edge a long time ago, and I can see there's the essence of the game in here. Obviously, you are riding a dragon through a kind of fantasy sci-fi environment, and it's all on rails, except you have a certain amount of movement around the screen.
Yes, you move within the screen. You can move around all the four corners, and you also rotate the camera, which sounds like it's offering flexibility, but it just makes it frustrating. You don't know which way you... Well, you've got a radar showing you which way the enemies are, but you'll still get hit from the side, and it's just annoying.
And you've got two sets of weapons, haven't you? As we can see with your firing here, do they both target? You've got a sort of a primary weapon and a secondary weapon.
There's different kinds of weapons. There's the one that does the multiple lock-ons, which is very reminiscent of Rez and Panzer Dragoon. There's another one which there's a bigger reticule which takes up, well, it was like a quarter of the screen, and that one lets you pretty much focus on avoiding the incoming bullets while you just hold down the right trigger. And yeah, other ones are just homing fireballs. There's a nice range of stuff, but yeah, my apathy is just shining
oozing out. I mean, that's why I felt so kind of heartbroken when I started playing this game, because it doesn't capture any of the... What I loved about Panzer Dragoon at the time was that it just seemed to catch that swooping grace that you would expect of riding on a dragon, whereas this one does feel like...
The handling's very heavy, and sort of once you're moving in one direction, the momentum you've got just stops you feeling flexible enough to look. I'm just getting hit by fireballs constantly. That's because the only sensible tactic is to constantly circle the screen no matter what.
Yeah, because there is a roll mechanic, isn't there? But it just rolls you into the way of things.
Yeah. I mean, useless barrel rolls.
Yeah. In fact, I think that's what it says in the instructions.
Yeah, it's one of the bullet points on the back of the box.
I mean, it does look kind of nice. It's
yeah, I like the fantasy landscapes.
Yeah, and you can tell that there's it's very very high resolution textures, but yeah, there's not a lot of grace.
Well, it's next gen. That's if that's what we've got so far.
It's the very least we can hope for.
Lovely textures and boring gameplay. Is this the future? No, this is the official Xbox magazine, and I'm legitimately upbeat.
This is just a side road off the future.
This is just one bad game.
And I think really with it started out. Didn't it start out as an Xbox 360 game and very much a Kinect game? Or
yes.
Was it always, yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'd love to see how that went, because Child of Eden was Kinect controlled, and it was one of the few games that used Kinect in a way that was fun to play. I can't imagine this being the way this plays now. This wouldn't be any more fun with Kinect, but it would be interesting to see what they originally had in mind.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see another level, because I'm fed up of going around these termite mounds now. So here we are, we're in an underground cavern, seemingly fighting some squid brain things.
Manta rays that spit poison into your path and are annoying.
And it's pretty much the same sort of thing going on here, not being able to avoid obstructions.
You'll find that your weapons to begin with aren't powerful enough to kill a lot of the monsters, so like all the locking stuff I've got going on here, it's all connecting but not killing everything. You tend to have to go back to levels with a more powerful dragon. There's a levelling up and evolving mechanic there.
Yeah, you sort of pimp your dragon, don't you?
Yes, you sell it out to perform sexual phases, yes. It's,
that, in one of the more surprising sub-games.
So you were saying earlier, the story itself isn't that pleasant either. You're a human beings have colonized a planet where everything's hostile to them, and they respond to that by killing everything, by possessing one species and making it kill all the other species.
Yeah, I mean, you're effectively a parasitic creature.
You are. Look at you mounted onto its back. You are like one of those wasps that controls the minds of grasshoppers and then makes them do weird things.
like on rail shooters. Yeah, I mean, it's not a fantastic story, and the music's kind of sub Final Fantasy music, which doesn't really help either. It sounds like a sort of an exotic hair shampoo commercial.
It's weird to ask this, but like, a game like this shouldn't really have a plot, especially one so half-cocked as this one. It should just be you're driving around on a dragon and you're killing loads of things that want to kill you. That's enough for me with this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if only they'd got that central mechanic of actually flying. I keep saying driving a dragon because that's what it feels like. It feels this great big metallic thing that has no life to it. But if you get that right, then it might have been an amazing game. But as it is, it's really average and a slight insult to my memories of Panzer Dragoon. Oh dear.
We've got another bit. There's a bit coming up where you have to collect beacons. I think that's just happening now, yeah. And
this bit makes me feel really sick.
They've managed to make what could be a fun little diversionary mini game. But you have to. The camera makes it feel like they're going to be one place, then it snatches them out of you. You just feel like you're being cheated. It's a frustrating game. It could have been so. I really wanted to like this.
I know I did as well because it's all my memories of the Saturn era. There we go. We're coming out of the tunnel into the broad daylight. That looks nice. But
there you go, isn't it? That makes it all right.
So that was Crimson Dragon, which is available for download. So we're going to have a very quick look at the golf game. Can you remind me what the golf game is called?
It's called Power Star Golf.
Okay, and it's not. I don't think this is going for PGA Tour golf style realism, is it?
No, it's going from all of the bobbleheads of Hot Shots.
Oh yeah. Which Hot Shots was in a fantastic game as well.
It's got the same. It's the same fun, easy accessibility of it. You can get a sort of a decent fun round of golf. There's up to 4 local players on it. But I've just got one issue with it, and it's just that the power gauge, which is the fundamental central part of this game, that every shot you take needs it. It's just a little bit. You can see the very narrow green element there. You've got to hit that perfectly for the shot not to hook or slice wildly is an overestimation, but a little bit too much for you to be able to avoid all the bunkers.
That is a very small window of error, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as you can see, they haven't gone for realism because that sort of missile explosion very rarely happens in the real game of golf, unfortunately.
But yes, each of the players has a special power, and this caddy can, if you press B and hold it down, it'll offer an extra element of prediction as to where your shot will go.
Okay.
And this big chin guy's power is just a rocket shot, which you saw, which was the magic. It's not.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks really, really nice. It looks as though it should be friendly, but it's just the aiming mechanism isn't quite there. I like the way that your caddy looks like someone you might meet walking through Hoxton.
Yeah, he does sarcastic slow clapping as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem with the difficulty with the gauge. Isn't so much of a problem when you're playing against other people because they're all making the same problems, but you don't get to watch the other AI players take their shots, so it just feels very robotic, and you're just presented with what they got and have to trust that that's the natural way of things.
That's very zen for a golf game.
And as you say, I'm a terrible putter. Putting's where the source of all my bogeys. And it's hit.
Well done. So I think we've seen enough of that game, but it's kind of a nice, reasonably approachable family game of golf if you're playing with friends rather than if you're. But you can actually play online against people as well. You
can play online against other people's AI. Well, their best round on a game is uploaded, and you can play against that.
Oh, okay then.
And you can play against people you know, or just find someone who's roughly your level.
Okay. Do you have golfatars?
It is kind of all that drivatar business that there's been
from Forza.
Yeah. Go for it. Try and coin the term golfatar.
I'm going to do it.
Golfatar.
I'll say it just like that. Okay, well, I think that's enough golf. Thank you very much. I'm going to get Edwin, another staff member from Xbox, from the official Xbox magazine, to show us another reasonably mediocre game.
I'm so thrilled by Next Gen, I can't talk anymore.
Perfect shot.
So we are having a look now at Loco Cycle, which hasn't reviewed very well. I'm here with Edwin from official Xbox magazine, who I think is the game's one sole proponent.
Don't hurt me.
Edwin, what is this game?
This game is a game in which you are a sentient motorbike dragging a Spanish-speaking mechanic.
Okay. How did this come about? I don't even know what to say. How did this come about? What happened?
So this is the work of Twisted Pixel, who are kind of known for more, shall we say, off-the-cuff kind of game concepts. And I suppose you could call it a sort of an homage to just kind of rubbish films and
We've just
yes, and we're now in gameplay. So that was a kind of a live-action movie, of which there are sort of about 6 or 7 in the course of the game. The actual game is, as you can see, a kind of a combat racer with lots of sort of arcadey flourishes.
What? Why did they think? Why did they think it would be a good idea to have this man dragging along on the back of the bike? Why couldn't it have just been a sentient bike?
Well, it's kind of. I mean, there's this. The strength of this game, and the reason I gave it a 7 out of 10 is that it's funny, and the big sort of joke, or I think it's funny. The big joke is that Pablo can only speak Spanish. Iris, the sentient motorbike, she can speak every language except Spanish, and she basically hears whatever she wants to hear whenever he says anything. So he screams, and she interprets this as like a shout of joy. And she's very fond of dropping sort of movie trivia and quotes and things. I mean, if you've played Portal, think of her as kind of like GLaDOS, but a lot more cheerful.
She's kind of like Kit from Knight Rider meets GLaDOS, isn't she?
Yes, and actually, Knight Rider is referenced, I think, in the script.
So what's happening here? A man has now jumped onto the bike.
So this is one of many QTEs that you get, and you can see she can kind of bend around like Chun-Li in Street Fighter. She's not just about sort of driving and shooting. Each enemy in this game has a certain sort of like gimmick, sort of a little sub-game associated with it. So you're about to see another one here. These guys, you have to sort of take them out with Pablo.
Cruising Barber.
Fashion. Yes. Yeah, and it's, I mean, the enemies extend from just guys and trucks to like giant mechs, and there's even some mad scientists in there. So
okay, and this is obviously like
the other two games. There you go.
What? So he's a frisbee now.
So now, yeah, obviously you can see I've got control of the man frisbee, whatever you call him at this point, and that's on the horizontal axis, and he comes back, and he's on the vertical axis.
So it's got all the axes covered then.
It has.
I can't believe this hasn't reviewed better.
This is a multiple axis game. It's like
it's the evil axis.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, this is, as you'll see here, one of its kind of like flaws, one of its many flaws, is that it kind of repeats like tricks quite often. So you'll see a few of these sequences now, and they get progressively harder. So I suppose there's escalating challenge or whatever.
I think my escalating challenge would not be wanting to rip the disc out of the drive and hurl it across my living room.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Keith, because this happens to be a downloadable game, and I'm not sure what the UK price is.
Yes. Okay, then.
It is budget.
So you'd have to rip the hard drive out and throw it across your living room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that though, because there are other things you could put on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Does it use any of the interesting capabilities of the Xbox One?
Not really. It was originally designed for the Xbox 360 and for Xbox Live Arcade, as you can probably tell from the visuals. I mean, this is 1080p at 60 frames a second, would you believe? But clearly that's not saying much. Yeah, it feels like it's been kind of like adapted in quite a hurry for the Xbox One. It's still going to come out on the 360.
The thing is, Twisted Pixel have made some great games. Like Explosion Man was really good. They've worked in the platforming genre, and their games are all really funny. And this does have some funny moments in it, but it's just kind of bizarre, isn't it? Now, is he being attacked by a battleship?
He's about to, so this is one of the, I mean, the racing side of it is sort of perhaps the most broken element of it, because the handling, as you can see, is like incredibly erratic. Generally speaking, it's just all about having the right upgrades to kind of like just wall out damage when you get into these sorts of situations here. Although I'm not helping by speed boosting through these rockets.
You're just such an expert at it now.
Yeah, well, after a while you start speed boosting quite a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would recommend it if you are the kind of person who, and I use this analogy in my review, if you go to a car boot sale and you see some awful kitchen gimmick, like, in a cardboard box somewhere that costs about 50p, you just can't stop yourself, then this is the game for you, because it's basically a love letter to that kind of stuff. It's kitsch crap, I guess, is in the American sense.
Yeah.
So
okay.
There you go.
Well, there we
10,
go.
apparently.
Right. Thank you, Edwin, for Loco Cycle. I hope to never see it again.